So, you're investing in gold or silver. That's a big step. But there's one crucial question you absolutely have to ask. Is it real? Today we're going to break down exactly how you can be certain that what you're holding is the real deal.
You know, it really is the biggest question, isn't it? You've put in the time, you've done the research, and you finally decide to buy physical bullion. But then you hold it in your hand, and that tiny bit of doubt starts to creep in. How can you be 100% sure?
Well, let's talk about why that doubt is so important. Take a look at this gold bar. I mean, it looks perfect. It feels right in your hand. The engravings are crisp, you put it on a scale, and bam, the weight is spot on. And that's the trick, isn't it? Modern counterfeiters are counting on you to stop right there.
So, what's the secret sauce for making one of these perfect fakes? It all comes down to mimicking one single key property: density. If a counterfeiter can nail the density, they can fool almost every basic test out there. And for that, their weapon of choice is tungsten.
And here is exactly why tungsten is so dangerous. Just look at how insanely close these numbers are. Gold has a density of 19.30 grams per cubic centimeter. Tungsten, 19.25. To a scale, that difference is practically nothing. This is the core of the entire deception. So what does that actually mean? It means a counterfeiter can take a tungsten bar, slap a thick layer of gold plating on it, and it'll have the same size and almost the exact same weight as a solid gold bar. That simple scale test that most people rely on, yeah, it's completely useless against a fake like this.
So this brings us right to that first line of defense that everyone thinks of, the density test. And look, it's a logical place to start, but as we're seeing, it's a deeply, deeply flawed step if it's the only thing you do.
So, when we say density test, what are we even talking about? Well, in the simplest terms, you're just checking to see if a bar's weight makes sense for its size. Does this much metal weigh what it's supposed to weigh? It's a good first check, but it's just not enough anymore.
And don't just take my word for it. The experts who see this stuff every day are crystal clear on this point. Relying only on a density test is a huge mistake because the bad guys have already figured out how to beat it. They know it's the first thing you're going to check. Okay, so if the outside looks right and the weight is right, how in the world do we find the fakes? The answer is you have to see what's inside the bullion, and you do that with tests that analyze its internal makeup.
You see, this is where the whole counterfeit scheme falls apart. A counterfeiter can get the density right, but they can't fake every single physical property of gold. This is how we catch them. The key isn't density. It's something totally different, like the speed of sound.
And here it is. This is the smoking gun. Check out this difference. Sound zips through real gold at 3,240 meters per second. But through tungsten, it's over 5,200. That is a massive 61% difference. There is no hiding that. It's a giant flashing red flag that an ultrasound tester will spot instantly.
So ultrasound testing is an incredible tool. It can spot a tungsten core. It can even find things like hidden air pockets. The main things you need to remember, though, are that the probe has to touch the metal itself. So, no testing through plastic cases, and it works best on pure bullion, not so much on alloyed coins with lower purity.
All right, another really powerful tool in the toolbox is what's called an electrical conductivity test, or ECM. Just like with the speed of sound, every single metal conducts electricity in its own unique way. This test measures that unique signature. And for all you silver investors out there, this is huge. Why? Because silver is the single most electrically conductive metal on the planet. Nothing else comes close. That makes it pretty much impossible for counterfeiters to create a fake that can fool a good ECM test.
Now you'll also hear about two other methods, magnetic tests and X-ray tests. A magnetic test is pretty cool. Gold and silver are actually slightly repelled by strong magnets, while fakes often aren't. But, and this is a huge but, you have to be super careful with X-ray or XRF tests. They only read the surface. They cannot see inside the bar. That means a gold-plated tungsten fake will pass an X-ray test with flying colors every single time.
So we've got all these different tools, right? The real secret here isn't trying to find one single magical test that does everything. The best strategy is to build a layered defense by combining them.
And here's why that's so powerful. Think about it. A clever counterfeiter might be able to make a fake that matches gold's density. They might even get close on one other property. But faking three different things, like density, the speed of sound, and its magnetic properties all at the same time, that's nearly impossible. The fake will fail at least one of those tests.
So really, it all boils down to the simple three-step plan. Step 1, and this is your first and best defense. Always, always buy from a trusted, reputable source. Step 2, never ever trust just one test. Combine at least 2 different methods. And step 3, the most important one, make sure one of those tests can actually see what's going on inside the bullion, like an ultrasound or an ECM test.
All right, before we wrap up, we need to bust a couple of common myths that give people a really false and kind of dangerous sense of security.
First up, that fancy-looking certificate of authenticity. You know the one. It comes with a bar, looks all official. That has to mean it's real, right?
The answer is a huge, emphatic no. In fact, it's the opposite. Counterfeiters absolutely rely on you believing that piece of paper. The people who deal with fakes all the time will tell you. Almost every fake bar they find comes with a very convincing but totally worthless counterfeit certificate.
Okay, fine, no certificates. But what about the packaging itself? You know, the sealed plastic case from the mint, or those official straps on a big box of silver coins?
Nope. Again, don't trust the packaging. Those straps can be bought and applied with a simple machine. Seals can be faked or reapplied. At the end of the day, you have to test the metal itself, not its wrapping paper.
And that brings us to the single most important idea to take away from all of this. Your bullion is its own certificate. The purity, the weight, the brand, it's all stamped right there on the metal. The only real question is, now that you know what to look for, do you know how to read it?